got sealed that is being used as a replacement for animal therapy in nursing homes, which is really kind of awesome.
So she built planets on Earth, you guys.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our very special event From the Mic to the Glass. I'm James Monroe. I'm the producer of adult programs at the Museum of Science Boston. I'm so excited and thrilled to be here tonight and to introduce our special guests. This evening is a collaboration between Boston-based sommelier Manny Gonzales and artist, musician, and the museum's dear friend, Ruby Rose Fox. Together, they have designed an evening and an experience that's going to explore our sense of taste, our sense of sound, and the science of mindfulness through wine and tea tastings that have been paired to special performances from musicians all over the country. It is going to be such a cool experience. You're in for a treat. We're so thankful to Manny and Ruby and all of the musicians for allowing us to share this with all of you tonight. And this evening is a part of our current winter-spring season of adult programming. It's also the last event as a part of our current adult programming season. It's been an amazing season, and I'm so excited to be wrapping with this show and with Manny and Ruby. And even though this lineup is coming to an end tonight, our fall season is right around the corner. We are already hard at work in pulling that together. It's already shaping up to be one of our strongest yet. We will be both on-site and in person here in the museum, also maintaining a digital presence as well. So I encourage you to go to our website at mos.org/adults and sign up for our email list so that you can be the first to get information on that lineup when it is announced this summer. I need to thank our friends Barbara and Malcolm L. Sherman for their ongoing support of the adult programming. Without them, we would not be here tonight, and this event would not be free for all of you. So please join me in giving a huge virtual round of applause and thanks to Barbara and Malcolm L. Sherman. And finally, after the show tonight, I ask you to go to donate.mos.org/MOS at home and make a gift to allow us to keep bringing free virtual programming just like tonight into all of your homes. Once again, that's donate.mos.org/MOS at home. But now it is my honor and my pleasure to turn it over to your hosts for the evening, Manny Gonzales and Ruby Rose Fox. Take it away.
Hey everybody, I'm so excited to be here. My name is Ruby Rose Fox, and this is Manny Gonzales, a Boston sommelier. We met at a Boston restaurant about 14 years ago and became fast friends. And we are here today to present a kind of binesthesia event, which is the combination of music and, Manny?
And wine. So my name is Manny Gonzales. I am a fine wine and sake specialist for a family-run wholesaler in Massachusetts called Horizon Beverage. They've been around since 1933. They actually opened, I think, a week after Prohibition ended with a warehouse full of alcohol. Don't ask me how that happened, but it happened. I think Morris Sims was a bootlegger. But anyways, but before that, I worked as a sommelier in Boston. I worked with my good friend Ruby and worked the floor. And one thing over the years, working as a sommelier and working in the wine industry, there's one term that we use over and over again, and that word is terroir. Terroir is a French word. It means from the earth. It comes from the word earth. And typically what it means is that the wine has a sense of place. If you imagine almost a pinpoint on the map, it talks about the soils, the climate, the aspect of the sun, if you're on a slope, how the slope is facing the sun, and all these things tell the story about the wine and where it comes from. But I believe that musicians also have terroir. There's a big difference between West Coast hip hop and East Coast hip hop. There's a difference between Chicago rhythm and blues, Delta blues. And today we are going to explore that. Before we do that, I just want to spend one moment talking about, because it is a museum of science, about the science of tasting wine. I happen to have a glass right here. So we always talk about the four senses, which is sight, smell, and well, three typically, which is sight, smell, and taste when we talk about wine. So when you look at the wine, you're looking at the clarity. This can tell you how old the wine is, how young the wine is. It can tell you how heavy the wine is. When we're smelling the wine, don't just stick your nose in and smell it. Think of a dog smelling food from around the room. It takes very short little breaths, like So when you take these small breaths, you get more aromas into your olfactory. When you put the wine in your mouth, on your palate, you now feel the wine. We're talking about the weight, the tannins, which is the mouth pucker feel you get with red wines, the acidity, which is the freshness, that mouth watering feel in the palate. And finally, we talk about taste. And when we taste and you swallow your wine, as you breathe out, you're actually pushing the odor molecules back up through your retronasal cavity and into your olfactory. So you're tasting and smelling the wine at the same time, which is pretty amazing. So the beauty of science. Now, I want to talk briefly about the first wine before Ruby introduces the first artist. The first wine for tonight is Bouchard Agni-Fille. This is a producer from Burgundy. Burgundy is known for two varietals, Chardonnay and Pinot Noir. Burgundy is not a color, it is the region, and it was a family name. So if you see a bottle of Bourgogne, which is how they would say it in France, and it's it's a white wine, it is Chardonnay. If it's red, it's Pinot Noir, about 99% of the time. But what's really beautiful about Burgundy, first of all, it's a challenging climate to grow grapes because it can be cold. There's a lot of frost in the area, and it makes wines that are very expressive with terroir. For me, Burgundy are always wines that have a lot of minerality, a lot of acidity. Bouchard Agni-Fille is one of the oldest houses in Burgundy. They date back to 1750. They were one of the first houses to actually bottle their own wine as a seal of authenticity, and the little stripe on the label dates back to the 1850s. The beauty of Burgundy and why it is all about terroir here, it's actually a religion of where the wine comes from. One of the wines that I'm drinking tonight is called Pommard, which is a village. And they make this wine the same way they make the wines in the next village and the next village. And the idea, so knowing that if your wine is from Pommard, if it is from a village called Gevrey-Chambertin or Nuits-Saint-Georges, or if it just says Bourgogne or Burgundy, our wines are virtually made the same. And the idea is to figure out the identity of each individual village. And once again, this is something that musicians do have as well. Now, why I think it works with our first performer, and I'll let Ruby introduce the performer, but to me, her voice sounds like glass, and that is the acidity in the wine, that freshness on the palate. Her voice is also silky, it's smooth, it's really lovely, and that is like the ripe red fruit you find in red Burgundy. But she has a lot of power, a lot of strength. That's like the tannins, that mouth pucker feel. And lastly, her attack, that is just like the oak in the wine.
Before we start, I just want to recognize where we are in history right now. We are in this transitional point between the pandemic and slowly going back to our lives. It's been a tough, traumatic time. And so another commonality that wine and music have is that they bring us back into our bodies after being in our head. And so one of the ways to heal trauma is to slowly and gently come back to your body. So part of this tasting as well is just breathing and getting in your body again through wine and through music. So without further ado, here is our first artist, Allison Irahita.
Hi there, my name is Allison Irahita. This is Mateo Eia. Thank you for having us, Mike to Glass. Hope you guys enjoy these songs and enjoy your pairings. This song is called Lover, You Should Have Come Over. Looking out the door, see the rain fall upon the field. break free and run. Too deep down and blind to see the damage I've done. Sweet lover, you should have come over. It's not too late. This song is called Ghost on the Shore. Awake when everybody sleeps, we make what they cannot steal. Awake when the night lights in, oh, well place, pain asleep until all the hours spent with dreams that tell us how we grow become the habits of our past lives, do's and all I don't. And so the challenge came as easy. Walk down and when your fingers inside my dreams inside. You take me by the hand, and you make me understand the love we have is very real. It's something nothing, no one can, no one can. Even when I try to fight it, you remind me that the tides lead us to the other side. You've always Thank you guys so much. Hope you had a good night. Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much, Allison. Allison and I did a tour around the US together, and I got to hear that bright cherry punch to the face every night, and it was amazing.
That's fantastic. And I'm so glad she started with Jeff Buckley. That is one of my favorite Jeff Buckley songs, and she just did such an amazing job. One point I just want to bring up, Ruby and I were talking about this earlier. For those of you that are interested in how to taste the wines, or you want to know how to taste the wines with the music, there are no real rules. If you have a specific bottle with someone that you tuned in to watch, drink that throughout. That's totally fine. If you have a couple different bottles, drink them as you enjoy them. If you have one bottle, if you have tea, if you are sipping coffee or water, this is all about our connection with the music and how they relate together.
And it's about mixing senses, right? We're just mixing our senses while we're listening. Yeah.
Exactly, and how they play with each other, because the music can interpret or change how we think of the wine, or vice versa. When we're talking about tea or we're talking about wine, it might change how we are able to listen to the performers and what we take from it. So I just want to tell you just a quick little story. The next performer, we are doing tea instead of wine with the next one. And I'm going to tell you an old folkloric story from the Guarani people of northern Argentina. So long ago, the gods of the heavens looked down on the Guarani people, and they fell in love with how they cared for the earth, how they were connected to the earth. And one day, the god of the moon decided with the god of the clouds to travel down to earth in human form to see the beautiful lands of the people and to visit them. The night came quickly, and they realized that they were just too tired to transform back into celestial form, and so they were stuck on Earth as humans. They noticed a house. They figured, okay, well, we can rest in this house and regain our strength. And right before they got to the house, a jaguar came upon them in the night. And just seconds before the jaguar attacked them, a farmer saved them with a bow and arrow. And the farmer invited these two travelers, who were gods in disguise, to come and take comfort and solace in his home with his family. They fed the gods, not knowing they were gods. They had very little, but they offered what they could. Well, the gods were so overwhelmed and taken by the generosity of these people that at night, when they regained their strength and they were able to return into the heavens, they wanted to give a gift. And what they did was, well, the moon god, she had sprinkled seeds through moonlight, and the god of the clouds had cried tears of joy over the farmer's lands. And from this land came a tree. And the farmer saw it with his family the next day, and it had these really dark, intense leaves and had these beautiful white flowers. And this is where mate tea comes from. Mate is an indigenous drink in Uruguay, in Chile, in Argentina, and it is a staple. It is a drink of the gods. It is a gift, like music is a gift. It is also a drink of friendship, like music is something that we can share and something we can internalize in and of ourselves. For me, the next performer, his voice sounds, and he was one of the first performer. He was the first performer I heard when Ruby and I were talking about this event. And all I could think of were the alluvial soils in an area of Salta in northern Argentina, one of the highest altitudes in the world. His voice were like the soils of the mountains, and the soft, subtle nature to his voice is like mountain air.
I love that, Manny. And when I first heard Quinn Christopherson's voice, I got chills. And for me, it wasn't just, I love the story you just told, because it wasn't just the softness of the soil. It was also, there was a spiritual element to it. There was, this person had been through a lot, and I felt it, and it resonated with a lot. And so without further ado, this is Quinn Christopherson. Enjoy.
I wanna buy you a condo somewhere in the mountain next to Walgreens. You need a simple life with simple things, a simple life with simple things, simple life with simple dreams. Last year cash on a midtown motel. We don't have much we relate on. We talk about our clothes. You've got that good blouse Those nice jeans match your anklet with your toe rings. You got that simple life. You got that simple dream. You got a simple life with simple things. A simple life with simple dreams. Can't afford that condo, but you can still see the mountain. Take a bus to Walgreens, catch a rainbow on your way home. You got that simple life with simple dreams. Got a window in the backseat, someone to talk to when your phone rings. Got a big cross on your gold chain. You got a simple life with simple things. A simple life with simple dreams. We missed the bus, so we walk outside the Chevron. We see Marshall out with his dog. He's got them sad eyes with a big smile. Wanna chop it up and stay a while. You've got kids, right? He's like two girls. They're 8 and 9. They're my whole world. When they come to me every other week, build a big castle out of bed sheets. Got that simple life with them simple things. Got a birch tree with a tire swing. Yeah, got a simple life with simple dreams. Got a turtle shell on our ice cream. Got a simple life with simple things. A simple life with simple dreams. Simple life. What if I told you the world is ending tonight? Is there something you'd leave behind in a vessel for new life? I don't mean to be bleak, but you know how I get paranoid. I've never been to this kind of event. I don't know what to wear. You said it's not that deep. We'll just sing a melody. It goes la la la, la 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 la. It goes la 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 la. You said if it's really over, there's something I still need to do, would you come with me? I'll go anywhere, I'll do anything in good company. You grab my hand, walk me round the block. You kept humming. I said, is this really it? You're so full of shit. You like messing with me. You said it's not that deep. We'll just sing a little melody. It goes la 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 la. It goes la 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 la. I like that you're simple. It's easy for you to laugh. They say you're resilient, good at moving on from the past. Think I get what you mean. All that other stuff is peanuts to an elephant. It's not that deep. We'll just sing a little melody. It goes la 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 la. It goes la 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 la.
Thank you. That was beautiful, Quinn.
That was awesome. So for me, the next performer takes me back to a specific date in March 2017. I was driving through the rolling hills of Los Caneros in California with my wife, Isis, and it was kind of a warm but balmy, overcast day, but you could feel these cooling winds coming from San Pablo Bay, just outside of San Francisco. And it is one of the most beautiful, beautiful places. And nestled in this area of Carneros is this beautiful domain called Domain Carneros. They date back to 1987, but the family comes from France. They come from Champagne, the Champagne region, with a wine called Tattanger, which is a really well-known, beautiful, beautiful champagne house. And they decided they wanted to find a house in California, or find an estate in California that could replicate some of the beautiful wines. And they built an actual physical stone by stone replica of one of their chateaus, Chateau Marquetry, in the Côte de Blancs in Champagne. And they hired one of the most amazing winemakers, Eileen Crane, who this past year just retired after 42 years of making some of the most beautiful wines in California. And she's so humble. If you were to ask her how many wines has she made in her entire life, she'll say 42, because it's just about the vintage, and that's all she really cares about. But why, to me, this works, listening to Sandra's voice, it is nostalgic. It is that point in a road trip when you're midway through and you become introspective, retrospective, and quiet and pensive, looking out the window, and that's what the music makes me think of. It makes me think of nostalgia, or makes me nostalgic.
So yeah, Sandra Larque is a indie legend, and I'm so happy to have him on this bill. Yeah, presenting Sandra Larque.
Hey there, I'm Sandra Larque, and I'm coming to you from Norway, from Bergen. I want to play just a couple of songs for you. Echoes overcrowding your mind. Your soldiers have all left you behind. A softer touch, a warmer light once was enough for lovers from the valley below. They enter just as fast as they go. A run-down trail of dead-end streets, so clear a path. Receive the new king of letting go. Receive the new king of letting go. Get away, get away, get away, get away, get away from me, the king of letting go. Skating on the paper thin ice, trembling like a tumbling dice. A one-way track to melt my heart. You have my back. Receive the new king of letting go. Receive the new king of letting go. Get away, get away, get away, get away, get away from me, the king of letting go. Yeah. That's a song called King of Letting Go that just came out. And it's, I think, the first time I've performed it solo on my nylon string guitar. I wanted to try it out and let you guys be the first to hear it. It's a pleasure to be able to play any kind of show these days while we're waiting to return to something we recognize. But so it's a pleasure to be asked by the Museum of Science in Boston to do this great honor, and along with fellow artists out there. I have to imagine how you all sound and how you all are finding this performance. I'm just gonna play a couple of songs. Let's do You're Not At All Who I Thought I Was Before. So who's the man standing on your bedroom floor, calmly putting on his shoes, softly shutting tight the door, crossing an ocean to be by the sea, leaving you behind, 'cause he's leaving with me. You and I, who I thought
forget you. You and I, who I thought I was. Disguise, dressing to repress the core. Whose are the feet tiptoeing across the floor? He's taking off his shirt and pants, sliding underneath the sheets, laying down the law of what dreams can be dreamed. I'm sound asleep while you're sleeping with him. You and I, who I thought. You and I, who I thought I was when I met you. So who am I to you now? Who am I now that I cannot forget you? You and I, who I thought I was. I was. I Yeah, that's where it ends. Oh, it's a pleasure playing. It's been a while. So you are now in the room here where I've been spending the last 6 months, you know. I've been able to do some touring here in Norway. I've been able to do some fun stuff while the country's been opening up and shutting down and opening up. But a lot of the time I've just spent in this workspace where I have written my next album. And I'm not going to play anything from that because it's a little fresh still, but I've been able to record a lot and write a lot. And this room has been very inspiring. So I'm happy to greet you from this safe space amidst all the craziness of the last year. So I'm going to do one more song, and thank you all for tuning in, for listening. I'm Sandra, and I can't wait to see you all in person, in concert, in real, you know, in the same physical space that we will occupy in the near future. That much I believe, I trust. So let's do another, let's keep it upbeat today. I feel we've earned that now. Darling, oh mine, I've no desire to do you wrong. The story short, the excuse is long. Darling, oh darling, I wasn't looking for someone else, just another part of myself. Oh darling, whoa, wants everything and more, in pursuit of an even score. Oh darling, oh darling, I wasn't looking for someone else, just another part of myself, and another, yeah, and another. You. Oh no, darling, I can't see myself without you. Oh, darling, I can't see myself without you. Thank you. Have a good night, and I'll see you out there.
Woohoo!
That tasted like that sounded like sparkling wine. The
It
second,
really, I was feeling that wine inside everywhere.
awesome. So I wanted to just actually jump back to something that he had said when he was, talking about, being in his room for the last 6 months, and the pleasure it is to perform anywhere. Part of this concept, really, for me, has to do with music and the musicians. James Baldwin, who I think is one of the finest philosophers, not just in the United States but in the world, said in his speech, "The struggle of the artist, or the artist's struggle," that poets, by which he means all artists, are truly the only people that understand who we are, what we go through in this world, the trauma that we are in the midst of now. Well, we will feel that trauma later, and it's going to be the artist that tells us the story of what we just went through and help us process it. And they do it at a great risk, because they expose their vulnerabilities, they expose their fears, they expose their pains for us, with the hopes oftentimes of being released from it. And in turn, we experience that and or can relate to it and be freed from our own pains and sufferings, knowing we're not alone. And so I think that is a really beautiful thing. For the next wine, we are going to one of my favorite regions of the world. And this for me is really all about emotion, because my family comes from Spain. My wife grew up in Spain. Rioja is one of my favorite wine regions of the world. It is an historic region. It was the crossroads for the Roman Empire, from the Pyrenees to the Atlantic Ocean. And it is one of the most historic regions in Spain. It was also first mentioned in the first writings in Spanish by this priest, Gonzales de Barthillo. And at the time, if you can write or read, you would write and read in Latin, because you did it for the church. He wrote in Spanish, and he wrote about the wines of Rioja. So this wine tonight is called Finca la Emperatriz. This, which translates to the farm of the Empress. This is a very unique vineyard. In fact, it is what we call a viñedo singular, which basically is a vineyard. It is a single vineyard produced wine, which is really rare and uncommon in Spain. Typically, you are blending different vintages from different areas. And here, it's like Christmas in my neighborhood.
Is that an ice cream truck?
I think it's an ice cream truck. Hopefully, they're bringing frosés.
What would you pair with that ice cream truck?
A frosé. It's the beauty of being outside. But in the 90s, these two brothers bought this winery that was owned by an empress and produced some of the most beautiful, timeless wines. And why I picked it for the next performer is because it embodies old world rusticity and elegance with a much more new world polished mindset. And for me, it is a great pleasure and tremendous honor to introduce the next performer, one of my dear friends, Ruby Rose Fox.
Thank you, Manny. Thank you so much. I am super excited to be kind of sandwiched between Sandra Larque and Andy Schoaf, because during the pandemic, I think their songwriting had the most influence on me. And so I'm going to play a new one at, as James Baldwin would say, at the expense of everything. And yeah, I hope you enjoy.
The age of the daisy was supposed to be how I got free. I'm 10 numbers away from you, maybe. I don't even want someone to save me. Oh, I'm crawling like some kind of baby, learning to love you like this. Hungry as I'll ever twist. If talking to you lately just makes me cry, then why is my dealer so high? And she sits there like some leading lady, like she actually thinks she can beg me, when we know that the ending's Scorsese, begging for one little kiss. Hungry as I'll ever twist. Got her little hand around my wrist. I never wanted anybody else. Sometimes I think I haven't met you yet. If talk, and you might think I'm lazy, when all I do is follow you. Those 10 numbers that you're using lately, well, I hope you let her be your safety. Can't imagine you calling her baby, or learning to love you like this. Hungry as I'll ever twist. I never wanted anybody else. Sometimes I think I haven't met you yet. I never wanted anybody else. I guess you are the kind that can forget.
So when you work in a restaurant, you get kind of bored, and sometimes you do really playful things to screw with your coworkers. So I actually wrote that one because I wanted to throw Manny off and not sing like I normally sing. So that was a bit higher than I normally sing, about an octave higher. So this next one is actually more more in my normal range. Anyway, this is fun. Thanks, Manny.
I found a place where I can absolutely shine. I sewed his name into a quilt that wasn't mine, and he rescued me from your old ways. I slayed a dragon just to watch him cry. It wasn't you, it was a sentimental guy. And as he slept, he begged me for your old ways. I watch a movie so I can get it back. I wear your sweatshirt in my bed. I root for the other team, 'cause you would scream and tell me I was dead. So take your time, it's just the way you work. And I won't call you and tell you you're a jerk. And I'll thank you for your old ways. I watch a movie so I can get it back, get it back. I wear your sweatshirt in my bed. I root for the other team, 'cause you would scream and tell me I was dead. I found a place where I can absolutely shine. I sewed his name into a quilt that wasn't mine, and he rescued me from your old ways.
I'm gonna do one more, and I was thinking about what would be the perfect song to sing during this really funky time we're in. And I'm in a place where I can't do a lot of planning because I don't know what's gonna be. So there's a lot of surrendering happening for a lot of my artist friends and myself. So I thought I would sing one of my other favorite songwriters who couldn't be with us today, named Leonard Cohen.
If it be your will that I speak no more, and my voice be still, as it was before. I will speak no more. I shall abide until I am spoken for, if it be your will. If it be your will, that a voice be true from this broken hill. I will sing to you from this broken hill. All your praises they shall ring. And if it be your will to let me sing, from this broken hill, all your praises they shall ring. And if it be your will to let me sing, and if it be your will, if there is a choice, let the rivers fill, let the hills rejoice, let your mercy spill on all these burning hearts in hell. And if it be your will to make us well and draw us near and bind us tight, all your children here in their rags of light, in our rags of light, all dressed up to kill and end this night, if it be your will, if it be your will. Okay. Thank you guys so much.
That was
Back
amazing.
to you, Manny.
That brought me back to you practicing yodeling in the Inoteca, which I thought was the most amazing thing I'd ever heard in my entire life.
I don't remember doing that.
I remember that quite well. So, thank you so much, Ruby. That was just absolutely gorgeous. For those of you that haven't figured out, I really like rocks and I like stories about rocks. And there is a human element to terroir, what I was talking about earlier, and it's really interpretation, the winemaker's interpretation of what the region is, what the soils, what type of wine are going to be produced there. But there is a story to terroir that goes far beyond us and that goes back at some points millions of years. For the next performer, I chose the Côte d'Rhône, which is one of my favorite wine regions in the world, and two different wines, one being a rosé from a very fantastic producer I'll talk about in a second called Château Neuf, and their white Château de Pop. Ruby, I sent you a different wine because I didn't have that one.
It's okay, I love it.
And ultimately too, if you don't have the exact wines, that's totally fine. It's really about finding the region, the styles that really make sense in that work. So 3 million years ago, this glacier came from what is now Lake Geneva, and it's actually still residing there at some point, made it as far west as Lyon in France and decided it wanted to go to the Mediterranean, as a good glacier should do, and carved out the landscape, carved out what we call the Côte d'Rhône, and just outside of a famous town called Avignon, it left all of these giant river stones. They're about this big, and they're really important in the wines. Now, I'm going to do another little geeky science fact. because it is a museum of science. At 95 degrees Fahrenheit, the grapevine cannot produce photosynthesis. And we are in the Mediterranean. It gets really hot here. It's really sunny. So what these stones do, and they weren't placed there. They put the grapes, or they planted the vines there. What these stones do is they absorb the heat during the daytime, and so it detracts, or it basically keeps the vines cooler because it absorbs that heat. And at nighttime, it releases them, and that creates a very smooth, well-rounded, elegant style wine that can be powerful but very easy to drink. Now, Chateau Neuf is a producer that dates back to 1560. They're the oldest producer in Châteauneuf-du-Pape. They're the first producer to export out of France, and they were the first producer to import into the United States. One of those first ports of call was right here in Boston a couple hundred years ago. One of my favorite producers, and why I think it works with our next performer, and you hopefully get the sense when you listen to him. He has such a storytelling element to his singing. It is either singing a story or a conversation with cadence.
Yeah, it if you haven't heard Andy Schoaf's album The Party, it's basically an album where everyone at this bar or this party is has their own song, and they all interlink, and it's just totally a genius record. And Andy Schoaf is definitely, undeniably my favorite songwriter. So yeah, presenting Andy Schoaf. Schoaf. Oh, that was so good. I cried. He played
awesome.
my favorite songs. Manny, that was a beautiful pairing. Thank you so much.
Oh, absolutely. When I first listened, when we came up with the lineup, I kind of had regions in mind, but not the specific wines. And it really wasn't until I got to see these videos, I'm like, okay, I know which one is going to work. So hopefully everyone out there enjoyed it as well.
Yeah, thank you, Museum of Science, for doing this. And yeah, you ready to shoot it back to James?
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, James, Museum of Science, for taking a goofy idea and making it really cool.
Not a goofy idea. Such a cool idea. Thank you, Ruby Rose Fox and Manny Gonzales. What an awesome night. Just like a really, really cool experience. And what a great way for us to wrap up our winter spring season. I can't thank the two of you enough. I'm very jealous of all the tastings that you've been enjoying, but I've been taking notes, Manny. I'm going to go back and watch it later with my tastings. I hope we can do this again in the future with both of you. And it's been a joy to collaborate with you both and with all of the musicians and the artists featured. Thank you to all of them for allowing us to share their music and their work with all of you. I also want to thank Barbara and Malcolm L. Sherman once again for making tonight possible for us to be here. And I want to thank everyone out there watching for joining us tonight and all season long. We could not have continued to do this work virtually without your support. So thank you so much. We hope that you will join us in the fall and sign up for our email list so you can be the first to find out what's coming up when we announce that season this summer. But until then, stay safe, stay well. Thank you both again, and have a wonderful night.
Cheers.
Cheers.